Okay, we are live. We are live. Happy days. All right. Sorry, we are a little bit late on this one. My fault. If you are tuning in, if you are watching this live, or if you are watching the replay, here's what we're going to be talking about. So, if you are someone who has historically struggled to be consistent, if you've been on and off the wagon with eating better, with building better habits into your life, trying to lose weight, trying to get healthier, trying to get fitter, if you spend more time off the wagon than on, then we're going to cover some of the reasons that people struggle so much to change from a mental aspect, and also talk about some practical strategies, things that you can put into your day and practice and make habit to help you become more consistent, build up your confidence, and help you live healthier, be leaner, be stronger, and have a better body long term. Does that sound good to you, Simon?
Hey, I'm in. Who's teaching this? I'm in.
Yeah, sweet. So, for you guys who follow my page, and if you who don't know Simon, we'll do a little intro first. Simon is my coach. He's helping me with a lot of business and also mind strategy and mind management stuff. Simon's the founder of the Unbreakable Academy. We'll talk a little bit about that. And Simon, let's give us a little bit of background in terms of what exactly do you do and how did you get into it?
Oh man, I've been asked this question 3 times in about 7 days. This morning I was asked it. I was asked it last week, so I should be getting a good answer. What do we do? I suppose let's break it down. If you look at Unbreakable, the best way to sum this up is this, because it can be very cliched across our industry, is Unbreakable is the academy is dedicated to giving kind of real people the skills and the tools to think better, feel better, and get more out of their life. That is it in a nutshell. It is skill-based training, mental skill-based training. So that's what our academy does. And we have people from all walks of life, as you know, come through that. We have people who are struggling, stressed, anxious, which is 1 in 3 people really now. It's a whole lot of people. Who are struggling to go out and live how they want to live. And we have people who approach me who are flying in life. Who would say, I'm at the top of my industry and I want more out of what I'm doing. And we're working with people, not that one's better than the other, I'm not saying that, but on the both ends of the spectrum, people who are like, wow, I'm super ambitious, and I know that the more I get out of me, the more I get out of my career or my business. And a lot of folks who are like, wow, and I've been both of these people, I would say, who's like, I just can't figure my shit out. Mentally, I'm all over the shop, physically, emotionally, and I don't know what to do about it. I've tried everything. And so I suppose the key distinction to make is we're skill-based, not, we're not therapy, we're not counseling or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There certainly isn't. But we're skill-based training. We have our own syllabus, which we've been running for years and years and years, probably nearly a decade now of training people. So, and a few hundred people a month will come through that system, as you well know.
Yeah. So listen, mate, one of the reasons that I wanted to get you on here was because being a coach who helps people build new habits, go through body transformation, it's blatant to me that the weakest link per se is always the mind. This is the muscle, if you like, that gets neglected the most. And when people lose that kind of initial motivation period, the enthusiasm for a new journey kicks in, everything's awesome, everything's exciting, and then that wears off. And then it's like we come at this kind of critical stage where we lose that motivation and we don't feel excited about this journey anymore. And it's almost a kind of make or break stage. And some people go left, they can quit, or they'll fall back into old habits. And some people manage to grind through that and actually achieve body transformation, achieve better for their life. And we could say the same for any journey, building a body, building a business, building anything. Why do you think people struggle with real long-term change? What's the problem there in your opinion, mate?
Man, where do you start? You're talking a little bit about the emotional
cycle of change.
The emotional cycle of change, where it starts off, we're enthusiastic and it peaks into that valley, so to speak, doesn't it? Where it's like, wow, all enthusiasm's gone.
Mhm.
I'm not getting the results I want, and a huge amount of us will quit and repeat the cycle. I think we can all relate to that. You've probably done it. I know I've done it. I know I probably will do it, in some things. And I don't think anyone's immune to it. Obviously, you want to come out the other end and climb back up. And why do I think that people struggle to create long-term change? I could answer that so many different ways. I think sometimes it's to be a bit blunt with it. Sometimes we all just want instant results, instant gratification. That's why it's so fun at the start.
Yeah.
Because the results come quick. It's like any diet, isn't it? Like, wow, God, look at me. I've lost all this weight in the first couple of weeks. Whoa. Like when I took up piano, like I got quite quick. I got better quicker at the start, if you know what I mean. Like I was like, wow, once I picked a few things up, I got better and better and better. And then I hit this plateau where you're like, I don't think I'm getting any better. I was just going to grind it out. So I think sometimes if we need the instant gratification, the instant results, and that's where all our focus is, we're always going to struggle because we're almost only gaining motivation from our results. I think the best book I read on it was Mastery, George Leonard, who said you've got to have a practice-based obsession, not a results-based obsession, if you want to achieve mastery. I fucking love that.
Yeah, that totally resonates with me when you mentioned about taking up piano. I play the guitar. In fact, I'm going to give myself a huge shout out here. Guitar is the only thing that I got top grades for in school. Everything else was completely average. But after school, I didn't really keep it up that well. And I had this habit of, because I was mostly self-taught, I had this habit of learning the easy parts, the chorus of songs. And then anything that gets slightly technical, it took a little bit more effort. I'm just like, I'll just skip that bit. I'll just stick to the bit I know and like. And I never really finished.
How many half songs can you play?
Oh, hundreds, mate, in the hundreds.
Yeah.
Full songs, maybe I could count them in one hand.
Yeah, I'm the same on piano. I tell that story all the time about piano. I use that analogy. If I'm teaching this, I use that analogy. I'll be like, you get good at a certain part of the song, and then so you're like, wow, I'm good at this certain part of the song. And so you then get to a bit where you struggle maybe, and you're like, and immediately I'll just want to go back and play what I can play. So I'm only ever playing the bit I can play. And so I never actually can finish a full song. I've had to create like a medley of songs, a bit of each one, blend it into one big medley. So maybe you should do some medleys, get around it.
Yeah, I could try that. Although, like, every time I go back to the guitar, it's like I kind of need to start again. I need to go back a lot of steps because I haven't played it so long to have lost the muscle memory thing. But another thing I was wanting to ask you there is, like, do you think a lot of people struggle with the identity process of change? And like firsthand, I can talk about this through my experience of leaving the army, and like I struggled big time, even though I didn't realize I was struggling with it. Like in hindsight, I can look back and like, because I didn't want to leave, it was medical discharge, and I was devastated, and that was a really difficult time for me. And I think a lot of people struggle with the identity part in the sense of, to have a lean, healthy, a good-looking body, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. You have to go from someone who maybe identify yourself as being lazy, as being a slacker, as being, so if you brand yourself as someone who has a sweet tooth and can't stick to good eating, you're more likely to kind of conform to those beliefs.
Without a doubt. I think the story you consistently tell about yourself limits your choices. Every choice we make is based on a thought of some kind, whether it was unconscious, like you just did it, or it was conscious. And this is such a common thing. I was a bloke in one of our programs was saying the other week, he was like, I kept convincing myself I'm this really angry bloke. He said, no, I realized I'm not anymore, but I keep saying I am, and I'm so angry. Like, I talk about this version of me that, like, I can't remember the last time I was angry, And I think we all do this. We've all got in shape, say. And then, I was a very skinny young lad who was very insecure, really, about being skinny and weak and all the rest of it. And, if someone would have said, oh, but you're nice and slim, that would have been like a fucking arrow to the heart. Like, no, I wanted to be strong and big, you know. Have you lost weight? No. I wanted to be big and strong. And
yeah.
Like even when I got bigger and stronger, though, so we've all got in shape and not felt any different for it. Like the person who's lost all that weight but doesn't really feel any different. And that sounds mad, but I think we've all been there. Because it's hard to outperform your identity. And sometimes you forget some of the shit you keep telling yourself and some of the shit you keep believing about yourself. It's just like not the case anymore. Do you know what I mean? And if you keep telling yourself, I can't stick to diets, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out you're not going to be able to stick to diets. Like, I'm just one of them body types. I just can't get bigger. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if you keep saying that every day, you're not going to make choices and take actions that, you know, encourage getting bigger, are you? You're always going to.
Yeah.
It's very hard to outperform and outgrow your personal identity, is what I'd say. God, I've got the cheapest stash ever.
And it's important to know that that's something that we put on ourselves.
Well, if we don't, we're allowing somebody else to.
Yeah. That's a great point. Craig Young, good evening, mate.
I think if we don't decide who we are, we allow people to tell us who we are, and sometimes we decide things that we probably would be better off not deciding about ourselves. You know.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
So with that stuff in mind, mate, I mean, I've got some suggestions here that I'm going to chip in as well. How does somebody someone who is, you know, goes on an exercise plan and then, you know, finishes after 6 weeks or goes on this, I'd like to say diet. A lot of the guys that I coach, I find actually haven't done diets per se. They've just went on their version of what's clean eating, you know, just cutting out the bad stuff and just sticking to it. But that
do you find the word diet is a bit like when people say to me, you know, I don't do that mindset stuff. I'm like, you've always got a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like diet. I don't do dieting. You've got a diet, though, haven't you? You have a diet, and it's like, people say to me, I don't get into that mindset stuff. You've got a mindset. You have a set of beliefs. You have a way of thinking. That is a mindset. You have a way that you view yourself and the world. That is a mindset. You have one. You may not consciously be choosing it, but you fucking got one.
Yes, and you have a diet. It might not be working very well for you. Like it's not serving you too well, but it's there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So what are some strategies that or practices that you have found have been able to help people change? Because I know one of the things that you pride yourself on is having the ability to get people to do stuff, you know, which essentially leads them to greater results. So what are some simple things that you would suggest people practice or build into their routines that can help them improve that identity process and be consistent long term?
Well, I suppose that's two questions in a way. So the first thing, to getting people to stick to stuff, to stop being the stop starter is the thing, isn't it? I think to stop being the stop starter, like people say, if you want to get somewhere, stop quitting, but that's not easy. Like the world's full of these wonderful cliches, like just stop stopping. It's like, well, if it was that easy, I would, wouldn't I? Sometimes it's not easy to stop stopping. There's a few reasons. In our programs, we build it around a few things, and I know you're very similar. But number one is, as bad as it sounds, is we've got to get people process orientated, like
100%
fall into the process. I mean, anyone who's goal obsessed, ultimately, when you're goal obsessed, and people say, well, what you focus on grows. So just keep focusing on that result and it'll grow. But actually, a lot of the time, if you feel crap and you constantly focus on this goal, it can feel like it's getting further and further away. It's like focus on the horizon. You never get there. And the illusion of trying to get there makes you quit because it feels miles away all the time. So you can keep focusing on this goal, but if you don't feel great and you're not getting anywhere, but if I keep focusing on it, a lot of the time it makes the gap between you and the goal seem massive and people quit. Whereas if you can just keep focusing on practices and like build stuff around practices, like what are the habits you need to nail and just nail them, you know, literally make them so simple you can't not do them. That's the first point. and that's stuff everyone knows, but that is, it's stuff everyone knows, but it's stuff that people rarely do. We all become goal obsessed. We all forget our practices. If you've got your eye on your goal, you generally take your eye off what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
But checking in with it, of course, but not obsession with it. For me, right, getting people out of survival is the thing. If I want to create change in someone, I'm like, I've got to get them out of survival. It doesn't matter what the change is. Physical, mental, business. If you're operating in survival mode, that high stress mode, change is extremely difficult. Because most people are going to say they haven't got time, is one thing. Well, when you're in survival mode, which is basically, they would say the average human spends 70% of their life there, at the minute, chronically stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, short on time, rushing, always behind. I think we can all relate to that. That's a protection. When you're in that state, you protect your own position. So it's not a time to be going and creating new things. It's a time to be protecting where you are. Even if it's shite, even if you hate where you are, you're more prone to stay there because it's safe than you are to go and make new changes. So the first thing I would say for all people is getting out of survival stops people stop starting. That survival mode.
Can I just jump in with something quickly? And that's I'm glad that you spoke. I didn't expect you to speak about that, but I'm glad you brought it up because one of the things that I've noticed, people come to me because initially they think I'm going to help them improve their diet. I'm going to help them sort of the exercise program out to get a certain result. And one of the biggest problems that I've seen with most men, over 30 with kids, very busy jobs and stuff, the biggest problems is that they're stressed and low on time, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that they don't know what to eat, although there's a lot of stuff they don't yet know, and I'm going to teach them and teach them how to put it into practice. But one of the most common issues is high stress, low on time. And that's why, like in a circle program, like one of the first habits we go through is bedtime rituals, getting better quality sleep, and making time before we even get to the nutrition stuff. Because if someone's stressed out, they're not recovering and all that kind of stuff, like you can forget the workout program and the nutrition. It's not happening. You're not going to get results from it.
Yeah, but that's when we're most inclined to add more stress to ourselves. I'm flipping out, I'm overweight, maybe I'm tired, I've got no time. We then go, I need to overhaul my life. I'm up at 6 a.m. I'm training an hour before I go to work. I'm going to train in the evening. And so we take this stress person ourselves and we add a load of stress to ourselves. And stress upon stress plunges us further into the survival hole. And that is unmaintainable. There's nothing on the planet that's built to survive in those constant high stress, states. And because we're terrible at releasing our stress, so to speak, we're just constantly stressed. And then what happens when you're stressed? You make bad decisions. When I'm a bit more stressed, I want to eat crap. When I'm a bit more stressed, I don't want to train. When I'm a bit more stressed, I don't make good decisions. I make terrible decisions. I make in-the-moment decisions that don't help me. When I'm stressed, my energy's low. When my energy's low, my resilience is low, my willpower's low, my motivation's low. All these things people say are motivation, willpower, they're all built on having good levels of energy, really. When I'm energized and I feel good, I got willpower for days. I got motivation for years. Hey, come on, I feel good. If I don't, I sod this. I'd rather sit on the TV and then feel bad about sit on the TV. Well, I'd rather sit on the sofa watching the TV and then feel bad about sitting on the sofa watching the TV. So for me, to make things simple, it's getting people out of survival, and you've touched upon it. I know if I can, in the first 30 days, we prioritize getting people out of that state, because a busy mind equals a busy life, and there's no bigger excuse than I ain't got time. It's the throwaway one for everyone. Yeah, but I ain't got time. Yeah, but I've got kids. How many? Oh, loads. Oh, you got more kids than everyone else. Yeah, I've got a job busier than everyone else as well. My job is busiest. Cool. We play I'm the busiest person on the planet card. But that is survival. It makes us feel that way. It is. It's happening here. So I don't know if you obviously expect me to go down that path, but for me...
Yeah, no, that was great. So just to clarify, mate, step number one is getting people process orientated, and part of that process or some of those steps would be, okay, let's look at some places to get out of survival, which is going to be likely be de-stimulating, de-stressing, better quality sleep, things that actively calm the body and things like that.
Yeah, I think so. And another thing I like it for the chronically, because we are chronically stressed, sleep well. Everyone knows this, but sleep well, less screen time. I'm quite a fan of someone who's quite chronically stressed. I'm quite a fan of like giving them acute stress. So like some short, sharp burst of exercise in the morning that's quite acute.
Yes.
But that's been shown to lower stress. That's why things like cold showers work a lot of the time, because it's quite acute stress. And that has been shown to lower stress long term. So stuff like that, breathing. It's all the crap people think, what's that got to do with getting fit? Because many of the people who watch this, they want to get strong and lean. Like, what's that got to do with getting strong and, and lean and all that? It's just all about training. But that's another mistake we make, isn't it? That we treat ourselves like a separate entity. Like, here's my mind, here's my body. They're all separate. Like, they're all bloody connected. You can't outperform your thinking, and it's so bloody hard to try and outperform your energy levels. We all know that. And then most diets crash us through the floor, and then that's less energy and more training. It's more stress on stress. So it's finding that balance, isn't it?
And something else that's actually really interesting is the more chronic, if you are chronically stressed, then that completely changes your body's ability to digest food and absorb nutrients. So you can change your diet, but you can change what you eat, but that's affecting the how of the process and what's happening inside the body. So you're not actually going to absorb all of that nutrition.
No. A good friend of mine, who was actually a mentor of mine, business mentor, Jason Kane, he is switched on bloke. He told me once, if you can't sleep, you're probably not going to get in shape. Like, if your sleep's terrible, you're going, you're probably not. It's going to be way harder. And I would say that about anything now. If you're not practicing or trying to get better quality sleep, that is the quickest way to feel and move better, I think, and get your body in better shape.
Absolutely. Is my camera looking dark?
It is, mate. Yeah, you look a little bit like you broke in actually with that cap on, and it's like
Give me 2 seconds.
You break in. Is that your house? It looks different to where you normally are. If you just broke in to steal that person's Wi-Fi.
Try and light the place up a little. There we go.
There we are. So I mean, I said we've got till about 7. I've got a bit longer, Dean. I know I moved some stuff around so we could go a bit longer if you felt like it. But
we'll be good in another 5 minutes or so, mate. Gary, welcome to the live, mate. I hope you're good. So we covered that. Like, step 1's process orientated. Start de-stressing, getting out of survival mode. What would you suggest in terms of mind management? Because I know you've got some practices and skills that can help people really. How would you put it? Improve their confidence, improve their self-belief. That's important. People start to cave and revert back to old habits when they lack self-belief. I can't keep up with this, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at that valley of doom, I think that's what happens. If you're result obsessed, as soon as you slide down, results start slowing. Well, if you're result obsessed, what disappears with your result, with your lack of results? Confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You gain all of your confidence. If we gain all of our confidence from our results, then when our results slow, usually our confidence declines. And so for me, although the famous saying is confidence comes from evidence, which is true, there's 3 prongs to confidence. I think external confidence, here's some results, but again, you have to become, if you build confidence out of your practices, it's like, man, I'm just aiming to nail these practices, then that can be, again, more evidence. But if you want to get a bit deeper, confidence comes from evidence, like, hey, results, but it comes from a bit of acceptance about who you are as well. Confidence. We've all know people, and I've been this person, and probably still could be, all of us could be, where, our confidence is all in external things, and that's a bit different to having like a confidence in just who you are as a person, like just being able to be confident in who you are. Like if my confidence rises and falls with the success of my business, then my confidence will be up for grabs all the time. So I think acceptance, evidence, and training, that's what I'm putting down. That's not in a book anywhere, but they're the three things for me for confidence. Evidence, like here's what's going well. Acceptance, like, yeah, I'm all right, me. Let's find some things I like about me. So regardless. And training, like that's your practices. Like if you can double down on your training. Someone asked me actually, where does your confidence come from? I was like, just level of training. The things I'm not training in, I'm not very confident in sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
But the things I'm getting the reps in, that gives me confidence. In fact, fuck confidence, trust.
Mm-hmm. You trust yourself in something that you've done 1,000 reps in.
Yeah, I trust myself to be able to do this when the going gets tough because I've done it. But if you said, "Si, play that piano in front of 1,000 people tomorrow night," I wouldn't be that confident. I wouldn't have much self-trust that I could do that. But here's the deal. If you accept yourself anyway, and you played crap, and you're like, that's terrible, you wouldn't then want to hate your life forever because you think, well, actually, you know, I did my best, didn't I? I am who I am. And I'll try and get better.
Yeah, you mentioned training. What are some of the training practices that you teach?
Sorry, mate. I got away from the question. It all depends, mate, because we build people through such a skill. We've got like a 12-month syllabus of skills.
Let me ask you a better question then. Guy in his 30s, let himself go a bit. He's looking to get back in shape. Has a history of being on and off with the diet thing, and he wants to do it this time, right? He's got back into training, starting to eat better and make some better decisions. What are some things that he can use along the way and practice to help grow his confidence and his ability to stay consistent and, you know, not finish, because we don't put finish lines on this, but actually accomplish?
I would say you've touched upon this. The first thing I would teach, the first thing we teach, we've got a 30-day program starting now. The first thing we're going to teach these people is simple nighttime, morning time ritual. It's like, right, here's how to prep sleep. Like, seriously, that'll do the wonders for all of that. The second thing is, here's how to get moving in the morning. So move, hydrate, basic stuff to top up all of your accounts, physical, mental, emotional. Move, usually short and sharp. Hydrate, simple stuff. But the mind stuff is more, hey, journal. You know, we send everyone a journal, like a laid out journal. And it's in that, it's very simple. What are my wins? So pre-bed, what were my wins today? What are my sort of key things I want to get done tomorrow? This is where you could start. In the morning, what do I appreciate in my life? Because we're kind of wired to always think about what we haven't got, what we don't have, what we won't have, what we're crap at, you know, what we can't do, what we got wrong. That's where our wiring is a lot of the time. And we got to shift that and say, well, if I keep looking at that, life is hard. Most of my energy is wasted thinking about things that don't help me. Not physically. People aren't physically exhausted nowadays. You know, my dad would tell me, you know, he had a proper job, you know, when he was a boy. He's been a builder all his life. So he's had a proper job, you know, not like me. But most people aren't doing those things anymore. Most of our jobs are so sedentary, you know, we'd hardly move him. So we're mainly mentally tired, you know, and that shows up physically. And no bigger waste of mental energy than thinking about crap that don't help you. So the journal is a chance to say, hey, let me put my focus intentionally on some things that will help me. What can I find? What can I find that's good about me and my life and my day? Put some awareness into that, because that's going to give me energy rather than take it away. And most of us, we will just go through life, and if something presents itself that's half decent, we're like, oh, my life's good. If something presents itself that's not, oh, my life's not so good. We can, rather than waiting, let's be a bit more, proactive and find stuff. And that can be hard because life is inherently full of shit sometimes. You know, we have people who've just lost their families and their kids, and you sit there and go, oh, life's great. No, life sucks sometimes, and eventually when you're ready, we can put our awareness on some better things And that would help anyone. You want to get in shape, put your attention on all the things that are going well. Your habits, progress, your stuff. If you want to feel happy, put your attention on what's going well. So journaling and breathing is the two things we teach people mentally straight away. How to calm their nervous system through breath, how to journal effectively. That 1-2 punch for a beginner can make the world of difference.
And it's so simple, isn't it? The journal, and that's something that's that's a staple for me. I never miss journaling, morning or evening. Well, I'm lying. I might miss it like one evening at 10 or something like that. Yeah. But it's a simple little practice. It's really just a reflection on the day, like what went well today. Like, and it's as simple as like I showed up and I trained my body. Listen, I lifted, I pushed in my workout. I lifted heavier. You know, I got an extra rep on that dumbbell bench press. Just little things, and then I'll also get like a weekly one where I'm like, okay, what's all my biggest wins from the week? Like, had a terrible week, but you know what? I still got 2 workouts in.
Yeah.
And where you put your attention on grows.
It does, It does, yeah. And of course, look, you can do anything in a journal. We'll build people through to teach them how to overcome obstacles, how to overcome setbacks, how to shorten reactions, how to do all sorts of things. But at the start, everyone needs a foundation. You know, you need a foundation. You can't build these advanced skills until you've got a foundation of, like playing the guitar, right? You can't go and do advanced songs that you'd love to without really mastering foundational basics of the guitar, a bit like the piano. You got to practice all the boring stuff to be able to do the good stuff. But you got to build a foundation. For me, breathing and journaling, you know, that 1-2 punch combo, even those simple things like that, is brilliant. And then you can build up to some advanced stuff. We teach people like free writing and lots of cool stuff to really do some great things. But we can't do it until we do the basics.
Absolutely can't do it until we do the basics. I've got a great example. We're about to finish up, Simon, but I want to share one example first. One of the guys that I coach in the inner circle did great when he went through the 28-day rebirth program, and he came into the inner circle, and he has this goal of getting in shape for the summertime. So he's got a family holiday booked. He's turning 40 years old, and he bought this T-shirt that says "Fat at 40." If he doesn't achieve his goal, he has to wear that T-shirt. That was his idea, not mine. And he'd been doing so well, right? Not necessarily a naturally confident guy, kind of struggles with confidence in a lot of areas, but his confidence has been growing with this, and journaling and taking stock of the wins, etc., and monthly goals is something that we've been practicing. And it comes to me recently, and he's like, you know, I've not really been feeling it lately. I'm not really engaging with the program. Past few weeks, I'm kind of struggling a bit. I'm going to see where I am in a couple of weeks' time, and if I'm still not kind of back in it, then I'm going to call it a day. And I'm like, cool, mate. Totally respect that. But here's what I suggest as your coach, because it's my duty to try and help you achieve your goal by any means. I hear you mention that you're going to see where you are in a couple of weeks. I'm like, listen, honestly, mate, if you're going to tell yourself, and that comes to those self-limiting beliefs again, if you're telling yourself you're going to see where you're at in a couple of weeks, you're either going to be in the exact same place you are now, or you're going to start regressing further behind. Because we can't just wait around and see if anything changes. Like, you have to be the change. And, you know, that's the only way you're going to achieve that. So what I'm going to invite you to do is take stock of all of the wins, you know, all of the wins that you've achieved so far. And he went away that day and he wrote them all down, done his journal, took stock, and he came back like, no, completely changed how I felt. I've actually lost tons of weight. I've got more energy, more confidence. I'm a better dad around the kids. I've even encouraged my brother to get involved in the program. He's getting healthier. If I pack this in, it would be a stupid decision. And he continued. That can change how you feel about things in an instant.
Yeah, and even perception is such a big thing. And I always use that example, by the way, when I'm teaching about overcoming sort of obstacles and looking at things and reframing, because it's bang on. You can make all that progress, and then progress can slow. And so what? Progress slows. It's a bit goal obsession probably, but your progress slows. The problem is what we make it mean. Oh God, I haven't lost any weight, and that means what? What does it mean? So what does that mean? I'm never going to get to my goal. I'm a failure. Is that true? Like, really? Let's have a look. And you're like, wow, actually, when I look back, I've lost all this weight, etc., etc. But it's the meaning we give things. Everyone jumps on, fucking hell, we have a bad meal. Oh, bad meal, whatever that is, and we feel crap. It's the meaning we give it. If we just think, oh, well, that was one and done, tomorrow's a new day, I'll just crack on, or, it's only one meal, that's cool. Then most people are roll with the punches and carry on. But if it's like, oh, I've just fucking sucked now, fail, I'll start again Monday, I'll fail my diet now. It's like, that's the cycle we go in. That's why the diet industry is so big, right? It's like, it's this illusion, like, I have to be perfect. And if I'm not perfect, I do nothing. And then I have to be perfect again, and then do nothing again, and perfect again, and nothing again. And perfect. It's like going back and forwards between A and B. So it's perception, isn't it? And you're right. You write all that stuff down, and you're like, I'm doing all right here, me. We also become obsessed with the moment. I know you've got to go, I've got to, but the moment. How often does that happen? You forget the 4 stone you've lost, and you're like, oh, fucking hell, I've gained a pound. It's like obsessed with that moment in time. It's like, I'm done. I've had enough of this. Dino doesn't know what he's doing. I'm out of here. It's like, I was obsessed with that moment. But if you widen your gaze, you sort of go, actually, I'm doing all right now. This is just one small thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, like, maintaining like a less amount of body fat than you've had before, even if you've been static at the same weight for a couple of months, to maintain that is massive, because most people lose it and jump back. Yeah, so like to maintain that is massive progress. That is great progress.
Yeah, and do you know what? Giving yourself credit, like, people, we have a lot, we're 50-50 men and women in our program, literally 50-50 now. And it's funny, people think they need generally, in my experience, is the opposite. So most men come to me and they feel that they need a kick in the ass, someone to tell them how it is, somebody to come on, tell me how it is and get me going. Most of them just need a hug, like, do you know what I mean? Like, hey, you're all right, mate. It's okay. You're all right, you're not doing too bad. Look, you're all right. Give yourself some credit. People don't give themselves credit. It's we've got this sort of, it's like, give yourself some credit. You've done all right there. Sometimes that's all you need to know. Like, oh yeah, maybe I do. And I am joking, am I being a bit sarcastic? You need a hug? Yeah, probably, but and the people who think they need I need someone to be nice to me, usually need a bit more of actually you need a firmer line here, and you need someone to get you to move. But a lot of the ones who think I need someone to go on at me, you're like, I think you need to give yourself a break. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, a big take home is consistency over perfection for all of us.
Oh, what's the saying? Progress beats perfection. Progress, not perfection, we'll go with.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, listen, we are going to finish up. Simon, thanks very much. Before we finish and leave you, I've got 2 things. Number 1, Simon, for the guys following my stuff, where can they follow your stuff if they want to find more about the free content and the challenges and stuff that you put out, mate?
The best place to go is either our website, which is Unbreakable Live, as in this is live, not life, .co.uk, or just on Facebook. I mean, have you shared our page, Simon Gwilliam on Facebook? We put loads on there. We have absolutely loads on there all the time. That's the best place to find out where we are. And hey, maybe we'll do this again. Like, let's do a part 2 on some point and let's delve into some other stuff. Always a pleasure to chat to you. That'd
be fantastic, mate. I'm well up for that. And number 2, gents, for any of you who are listening, men 30 and above, I have the 28-day rebirth program starting on Sunday evening, the 4th of April. If you want help to eat better without dieting, without counting calories, without being strict or overly aggressive with your diet, if you want to transform your health, your energy, get strong with minimal equipment from home, this is all done remotely. Give me a shout, send me a PM on Facebook, and we can have a chat and see if that's the right program for you. It's coming up on the 4th of April. We're going to leave you, love yous and leave yous there. And yes, we will come back and do a part 2. Simon, thank you very much, my friend.
No worries. Good steady. Cheers for having me.
Thank you, man.